Yo, what's up, Sports World? TSC, Rapid Fire, NBA Free Agent Frenzy segment. We about to tell y'all all these moves, man. There's so many of them. Guess what, y'all? LeBron went to the Lakers. Yes, he really did. We already pulled out our crystal ball, so we told y'all should be surprised after listening to us. 4 years, $153 million. LeBron goes to the Lakers. Got to give y'all a little bit of the Pelicans. You know, we picked up Alpha Payton, hometown kid, for 1 year. JaVale McGee jumped on that Lakers bandwagon and signed for 1 year, $2.4 million. And so did Lance Stevenson, also for 1 year, $4.5 million. Aaron Gordon signed for 4 years, $84 million to stay with Orlando. Mario Hezonja, however you pronounce that, signs with the New York Knicks, 1 year, $6.5 million. Kentavious Pope joined LeBron as well for 1 year, $12 million. You got Fred VanVleet, signed 2 years, $18 million to go back with the Rockets. Luke Cornett also went to New York. They don't tell you how much money he's making, so it must not be too much, for 1 year. Nick Stark agrees to a 1 year deal for the minimum with the Portland Trail Blazers. Gerald Green will return with the Rockets for $2.4 million for 1 year. Aaron Baines goes back to the Celtics for $11 million. Glenn Robinson signs a 2 year, $8.3 million deal with the Detroit Pistons. Selma Margic agrees to 1 year to remain with the Dallas Mavericks. Then you got Marco Bellinelli, Mr. Clutch himself last year in the playoffs. He went back to the Spurs for $12 million for 2 years. Derrick Rose decides he really wants to play basketball, y'all. And he signed with Minnesota for 1 year, $2.1 million. Ed Davis agrees to a 1 year, $4.4 million deal with the Brooklyn Nets. Omer Caspi goes to the Memphis Grizzlies for 1 year. Jamiah Grant, as well as, guess who else? Paul George, y'all, went to the Oklahoma OKC Thunder. Paul George went for 4 years, $137 million. And Jeremiah Grant, 3 years, $27 million. So they keeping that big three, big two, whatever you want to call them, intact over there in OKC. Chris Paul will return to the Houston Rockets to the tune of $160 million for 4 years. DeAndre Jordan decides he's going to go to the Dallas Mavericks for $24 million just for 1 year. Joe Harris will stay with the Nets at 2 years, $16 million. Doug McDermott agrees to a 3 year, $22 million deal to stay with the Indiana Pacers. No, wait, he came from the Nets and went to the Pacers, so he'll be going to the Indiana Pacers. The Joker, Nikolai Djokovic, signs for 5 years, $148 million, and he earned every penny of it. Will Barton will also be staying with the Denver Nuggets to join the Joker for 4 years at $54 million, keeping those two guys together. You got Kevin Durant, who read up Golden State Warriors, and he did not take a pay cut, yo. $61.5 million for only 2 years. Ilyasova, the three-point shooter from Philly, goes back to where he was drafted with the Milwaukee Bucks for $21 million. And Rudy Gay rejoins the Spurs for 1 year, $10 million. Must be nice to be Rudy Gay. But he could not outdo Trevor Ariza, who signed to the Phoenix Suns. Guess how much, yo? $15 million for 1 year. Trevor Ariza is a very good player, but I was like, wow, $15 million? Well, Phoenix got the money to throw around. So that'll be all the signings we got at this point right here. What you think about this, Big Q? Which one stands out to you the most?
Well, obviously the LeBron. Well, I mean, it's kind of simply the LeBron James obviously sticks out to me. 4 year, $153 million for the Kings. Now he's taking his kingly talents out to Los Angeles, enjoying the heavenly roster of Lakers talent from Kobe Bryant all back to Magic and all that great lineage of champions, and to bring a title back to LA. And I've always said this: is that the NBA hasn't been the same since Los Angeles hasn't been relevant. Los Angeles Lakers have to be relevant, and they are now relevant with the King back there. And now that Boston, that's been relevant for some time now, they are a contender in the East. Only makes sense for the Lakers to be now a contender in the West with LeBron headed out west. So that, to me, was probably the most outstanding signing of them all from a national perspective. As far as the local perspective, of course, Elfrid Payton signed a 1-year deal to come aboard with the Pelicans. Very surprising. Indicates that the Pelicans brought this kid aboard before they signed DeMarcus Cousins, before they brought Rondo back. You know, it's kind of interesting to see where he would fit once Rondo get done and DeMarcus Cousins get done. You know, very interesting moves here, but that is two of the moves that I see that really kind of struck a chord with me, my friend.
Well, I agree with the most shocking move to me, personally. You know, I always got to go left field. Paul George, for 4 years, $137 million.
That was shocking as well. Right.
I thought he could have got more money at less years and then read up and went into free agency later. And I pretty much thought he would be a lock to be over there with LeBron. So it was very interesting to see the Oklahoma City Thunder hold on to him, man. Very, very interesting. I agree for the Pelicans. The Elfrid Payton move is a little bit of a head scratcher. He's a good player, but I'm just wondering how he'll fit with a Rondo. If we bring him back, I'm sure the whole Pelican Nation love to see that. And you don't have DeMarcus Cousins over there as well, but you signed him. But hey, he only signed for 1 year. We don't know how much money he's getting. Maybe he came at a hometown discount where they feel like they had to hurry up and scoop him up. So get the details on that contract a little bit later. But it's a very, very active free agency period to say it's only been going on for basically about 24 hours. Got a lot of names staying put, and you had an interesting enough amount of names moving around. Thought another big deal was DeAndre Jordan. It's probably a move, but I think he brings the Mavericks back into contention. They could probably compete as high as for the 7th or 8th playoff spot, having a guy like him there. DS3, how they call him, with the rookie point guard sensation from last year, taking the next step. Along with your guy, go ahead and talk about Donovich.
Oh, you're talking about Wonder Boy.
Dude, that's Wonder Boy. Cute like Wonder Boy, yo.
Listen, Luka Doncic, man, it's going to be an interesting player for the team. A lot of people expecting him to be fire out the gates. Of course, they're going to have an adjustment period to take place, but guess what? He's not the focal point of that offense down there in Maverick land. Obviously, Harrison Barnes will shoulder that load. You still got Dirk Nowitzki coming back, what could be a final season. You got the young man, Dennis Smith. You got that guy's he's an outstanding young player. Along with Harrison Barnes, Dirk Nowitzki, and then you add DeAndre Jordan down there. And they have to put together that bench. But outside of that, Dallas is putting together a nice, formidable team as well. So the West is looking strong coming into this first 24-hour period of free agency.
Another interesting signing to me was JaVale McGee signing with the Lakers, and I noticed that DeMarcus Cousins, there's a lot of talk of DeMarcus Cousins going and having a talk with the Lakers and the Pelicans. So I'm very curious why they would sign JaVale McGee without signing DeMarcus Cousins, and looking at the fact that they rattled off 3 signings right after LeBron, which pretty much equals up to, not quite, but in the ballpark range of what they would have been offering Paul George per year. So they pretty much got not a lot of money left, and I'm wondering, will they get Kawhi or DeMarcus Cousins? What are you thinking on that?
As far as the DeMarcus Cousins thing, I think they're definitely trying to keep a certain percentage of money available just for the potential signing of DeMarcus Cousins. I'm gonna say it now, like I said it before. Just like we called the other moves, DeMarcus Cousins is going to be a Pelican, whether it's on a 2 or 3 year deal. The Pelicans made no qualms about it. DeMarcus didn't like it. He wanted to have that money, have the Pelicans to put that max on the table. But the Pelicans are going to be on a 2 or 3 year deal to see if Marcus Cousins can really come back from that injury, come back healthy. As far as the Lakers are concerned, I think the Lakers sign JaVale McGee. Like you said before, I think JaVale McGee and his signing.
You meant to say they still had money on the table for Kawhi Leonard.
Right, I'm getting to that. I think. Right, I'm getting.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Right, I'm thinking you mentioned DeMarcus Cousins a little bit earlier. I'm just addressing the Cousins thing. DeMarcus, like I said, I think Cousins is coming home. They had multiple reports saying DeMarcus was. The Lakers were in the market for DeMarcus Cousins. To sign him, I don't think that's the case no more after looking at the JaVale McGee signing. Bringing JaVale, even though it's, I think it's worth, what, $2.4 million, something like that.
Yeah, they got Julius Randle still over there, too.
Right, so they still got Julius. So I don't think that. Now, as far as the Kawhi Leonard thing, I think he eventually is going to be Los Angeles bound. I'm hearing preferences. They're saying the Lakers. If it's not the Lakers, it's the Clippers. Either way, I think eventually, if it's not this year, it'll be next year that he will definitely end up in Los Angeles. And San Antonio, it behooves San Antonio to stop playing games. The kid don't want to be there. Stop trying to hold people that don't want to be where they don't want to be, man. You can't talk somebody that don't want to be with you. To say, we went through that down here in Pelican land when we had Eric Gordon down here, and we paid Eric Gordon all that money, and that guy didn't play like what he's playing in Houston. It's a noticeable difference. And of course, he has a bench role there, and you might say, well, he don't have all the minutes, all this kind of stuff. That guy didn't want to be here. We spent all that money on him. Don't do yourself. Stay hurt.
Really hurt.
Right, you're right. He could have been saving himself to move to Phoenix, trying to get out of here with Phoenix offering the money. Dell Demps matched it. Listen, do yourselves a favor. If that man doesn't want to stay there, he's telling you he wants to be somewhere else. Stop trying to talk him into it. Trade him and see if you can get a piece and keep winning. Bottom line. And as far as the Lakers, the Kawhi thing, I think eventually he'll end up in Los Angeles. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. The Lakers have a way of always getting their way with these trades. I remember you had Shaq a while back. I was a kid at the time, and I always thought that was a head scratcher. Like, why would Orlando trade him to the Lakers? They got some type of magic going on over there in Los Angeles with the Golden people. Good luck, San Antonio. He's pissing away all the leverage out there. That's the end of our segment. Wrapping up these free agent acquisitions and moves. The more news that we get, we'll continue to bring these to you and keep y'all updated. Enjoy my time here tonight. This is DC from the Sports Coma signing out with Big Q. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Peace.
What up, sports world? It's Big Q from the Sports Coma, representing the PRO Media Network, letting you know that the PRO Media Network is in a push now on a mission to gain 10,000 subs. That's right, 10K on the subs. And to help promote to get 10,000, the PRO Media Network is not only going to be doing the shows that you love so much about the Saints, the Pelicans, or LSU, but also it'll expand out the bigger stories about the NFL, the NBA, and even include new content dealing with anime, gaming, and even movie reviews in an attempt to expand out its platform. So if you're a fan of the PRO Media Network, the Sports Coma, or the Pelican Post-Game Report, and other podcasts made by the PRO Media Network, please join us in our efforts in our mission to get 10,000 subs. Share us with fans, share us with friends, share us with family members, and help us help the PRO Media Network gain 10,000 subs. Peace.